Good afternoon, Flosstube. It's Lori of MischievousStitches. I want to welcome all of you to my channel today. I'm very glad that you stopped by to visit with me. If you're here for cross stitch, you're definitely in the right place. I have several whips, a couple new starts, finishes, and fully finishes to share with you today. Over the past few weeks, I had decided that while I'm still home with my husband as he recuperates, to take some time each day to either stitch or fully finish some of the items that I've had sitting for a while that needed to be fully finished. So I'm going to share a few of those with you first. This piece I won in a raffle prize at the Barefoot Needlework retreat back in February. What I won was type of a Valentine bowl, and this is the bowl that everything I won came in. It had also fabric, threads, and a chart for Pledge of My Affections by Barefoot Needlework. It also had some bath bombs, and I can't remember everything else. It was just some candies. It was a nice little raffle basket. So I took the time. I had already stitched up the Pledge of My Affection earlier this year, and so I fully finished it. I love how it turned out. It smells so good. I have some of the lizard litter, which is crushed walnut shells inside, and I also keep my orts as I fill up my little ort bowl. I put it in a Ziploc bag, and I'll use it usually around once a year, and I fill it. So it's not filled to the rim. I didn't want it to be filled and to the point of bursting, but I do have both walnut shells and my orts inside. So it's a little loosely stuffed, just how I like it. Now my friend Natasha had gifted me with a piece of blackbird fabric for the back. It was the perfect size. Got that sewn up, and I used a piece of wool that I picked up earlier in the year. It was just, this is the packaging that come with the wool, and it was 5 by 5 inch squares of wool, which I picked up because I knew I like to do things like this. So when I finish up my pillows like this, I like to sew all the way around and not leave an opening for stuffing. And because I do that, once I sew it, I have to take both the backing fabric and the stitch fabric and pull it apart, give it a snip, stuff it, and then use this to close up where I stuffed it. So where I stuffed it is underneath. I did take the time to whip stitch it closed, and I cut a little heart. And I also used a 2024 charm that I had bought earlier in the year to finish it up. So my goal over the next couple of years is going to be to stitch other pieces to go inside this bowl that I won with that raffle. I've had this on my dining room table, waiting not only to share it with all of you, but to prompt me to stitch some. So I've bought some other patterns that I want to use to fill up this bowl, but for now, this lonely little Pledge of Affections, the only one inside. Love it, love it. And what else did I finish? This is called the Cardinals, I believe, and this is a Mill Hill kit. I think on the last video I filmed, I believe that I shared with all of you the frame. Now the Mill Hill frames are usually around $20. I purchased this unfinished wooden frame. As you can see I painted just the front and the inside edges off of Amazon for around $6 and some change, I believe. I can link it below if you're interested to the frame. I had the paint on hand, I had the wax on hand, so I stitched this up. Again, this I believe is the Cardinals. It's a Mill Hill kit. And the glare you see is not on the inside. I didn't realize it would do that. It does come with not glass, but a plexiglass cover. And instead of putting that over the beads, I actually put it behind them. And I can see it shining behind there. But anyway, so here's my piece that I finished up. That was a lot of fun. I got a lot of comments on it. And I had also finished this piece, which also has a cardinal. This piece I finished, the stitching of it earlier in the year was looking for the perfect frame, and I was hoping to thrift a frame, and so when I'm in town, I always try to stop by Goodwill on the weekends and look for a frame to finish this one. I think it was a 9, I think the finished piece was 9 by 7, I believe. Anyway, maybe, yeah, I think it was 9 by 7. So I thought I can maybe get something that I can cut down. Just had not been lucky, and I got tired of waiting. I wanted to finish it up. My first thoughts were to frame it in a glossy red frame that I planned on painting something. But I bought this stock black frame. I ended up going with a document frame for like diplomas and certificates and things like that fit the piece pretty well. It does have a little extra on the top and bottom, the length of it, but the width of it fits really well. And this is Tangled Tidings, I believe it is, by Tellin Emblem, and this is the Merry Christmas. And so I got a lot of comments about my cardinals. I didn't even think about there being 2, but I really have been enjoying perforated paper this year and beading, and so I've got a lot of those kits, and then I was really happy to have this one finished too. So what else have I been stitching on? Let me pull it out. I did pull this one out late last week. I planned on giving it a start, I just haven't yet. It's a Satsuma Street Halloween piece. I went ahead and separated the threads. It also has beads, and this is Vam-Purr. I plan on stitching him without the blood droplets around the mouth, or maybe do one and not both around the fangs. But I went ahead, like I said, I separated the threads. These kits, I love them because they come basically with everything. You get your beading needle, your stitching needle, your threads, your perforated paper, and any beads or sequins that are used, as well as the baker's twine that they use to secure the threads together within the packaging. I often use that for the hanger. I have an idea for my Halloween ones. This will be, I think, the 3rd or 4th one that I have finished. I have an idea of how I want to display those, and I just, every now and then I try to sneak in one of these stitches, and I'm going to do that now. I've got a few more doctor's appointments with my husband coming up, and I think I can take this with me, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. It's easy to, it's a travel piece. It's a great travel piece. So I recently joined some of the South Carolina Stitchers in Lexington, out of Lexington, and I started this piece when I was with them. And this is another Mill Hill kit. This was a gift to me from a friend several years ago. I love sea turtles, and she knew it, and she purchased this piece for me, and I finally stitched it up. So I did this last week, I believe. I went ahead and fully finished this one as well, and I took double-sided stitcher's tape and felt and just finished the back. You notice there's no hanger or anything. Oop! This kit came with actually a magnet. I've stitched some of the first things I stitched that I ever ordered. There used to be a magazine that would come in the mail, a catalog maybe, should be the way it was called, where you could purchase kits or stitching kits and that kind of thing. I think it was called the Stitchery maybe. And I remember ordering a few Mill Hill kits. There's one still on my refrigerator. The others are not. But over time, now I did not finish them the same as I finished my Mill Hills now. But I would put glue over the back and then kind of secure it and give the paper a little more sturdiness. And I'm talking about the Eileen's tacky glue. And then I would put the magnet on it. Well, over time, over years, and we're talking 10 years or more, just moving it with little hands of my children on the refrigerator and that kind of thing weakened my paper. And this one is still very movable with just the stitchery tape and the felt. So I'm not sure how I'm going to fully finish it. I don't think I want to use the magnet for that reason. It is not as strong of a magnet as the magnets say we use for needle minders, which is great because that would cause you to use more force to remove it from something that you've displayed it on. but I'll come up with something. But it is fully finished minus a hanger or magnet or however I decide to do it. And this is part of, this one's a small one. This is part of the Spring Bouquet collection. And I think it's just called Sea Turtle, yeah. But last month, I've been stitching with my giggles, and we set, there were some goals that were set for us for the year. And for July, of course, it was Christmas in July. So I pulled out a piece that I had started with my friend Mary earlier in the year. So you've seen this one at some point if you've watched my channel. And let me pull out the pattern, the pattern cover so I can share it with you. This is, this is my first time stitching a Shannon Christine piece. Mary chose this piece and asked me to stitch it along with her, and I jumped right in. I changed up the fabric color. I don't remember what it was called for, but let me look really quick. I don't see where it says the actual fabric. Symbol key and design. Let me look one more place, hold on. I don't think it has it in there. Maybe it's on one of the pattern pages, so hold on just a second. No, it doesn't. So it doesn't give you the fabric color, and I chose 32 count olive by Witchelt Fabrics. I like the thought of having, if you look at the pattern cover, it looks like a very light green. And I wanted something that was really gonna show the white of those exaggerated snowflakes in the bottom there that looks more like lace work. I love the look of that. If your front yard looked like that when it snowed, it would be beautiful. But I decided to darken it up a little bit, and so I got, as I said, Witchelt olive. It's 32 count. I'm using 2 strands over 2 linen threads, and as of right now I have finished 1 page. So this is the top left quarter of the page, and originally I was going to move down, so I have worked into the second page. I've got a whole bunch of threads sticking on there, don't I? I was going to work down and over, but I decided to work across. I will tell you, this border, if you decide to stitch this one or have it and haven't yet started it, consider getting a variegated green for the top. Let me see if she even, I don't know if she suggests, no, her color key is all DMC. So I would suggest, if you're going to do this, get something that kind of, a thread that kind of mimics or matches the colors for these trees, and do this border, because it's very confetti heavy. The flowers themselves are 3 colors, the whites 2 shades of pink, and I think the greens are 3 different shades. And as you can see, it's a beautiful effect when it's done, but I think if I had the chance to start it over, not that I will, but if I were starting it again, knowing what I know now, that's a better way to put it, I would find a variegated thread that kind of mimics those colors together and save myself a little bit of work. But I'm loving this. I'm loving this. I'm working on something now I'll share with you in a minute. I'm hoping to finish it within the next 2 days, and then I'm going to go back to this one. I would love to have this one displayed at Christmas. I think it's gorgeous. So let me show you where I am on the pattern. So I've done this and worked into the top of this urn of poinsettia, and I'm working over here. So I'm at the cardinal now. The cardinal is stitched. I'm just doing the branch and the leaves on that. And I believe that all the greenery is up to this key, but that's where I'm at. And I know this house, I'm not a bricklayer, and that one's gonna be a booger. Houses are very it's a time suck, and I don't always enjoy them. because it's usually only a color or two. I get bored with it. So generally what I do, and that's the reason I moved over and down, that way I've started into this page when the bricklaying gets too monotonous, I can just choose a bright, happy color and move over here a little bit. But it's gonna be gorgeous when it's done. Let me show it to you one more time, just because I love it so. And this is coming up pretty true to color, a little more greenish than what you're seeing in the camera of the phone, but still a beautiful piece. I'm gonna stick this back in the project bag real quick so I don't lose it. And then my sweet friend Donna, hey Donna, she reached out and said, oh, I'm gonna start Vineyard Fair. Would you like to stitch it with me? Of course, I'd love to stitch it with you. So, and this bag, I love these bags. This is by MischievousStitches. She's on Etsy. I love them. So one side is a clear zippered pouch, and I generally will put, I've got this on a Q-snap, but I would generally, if it wasn't on a snap, I would have my project and my, this is my thread bed and my fabric in here, and then over here is a pouch that I have my pattern in, and I'll put my threads in here too. So all my threads are right here. And then you just close it up, and it has a snap to keep it closed, and you're able, you know, it's the closure itself. Hold on just a second. Let me snap it. Finding it difficult with one hand. You can have multiple patterns in there if you like. See the room you have there? And if I have like the smaller 8x8, it'll slip right in there, the Q-snap. And I just love these bags. So when I'm near them, I try to buy one or two. But again, that's MischievousStitches. I think she has an Etsy shop. She's also on Instagram if you're interested in them. Because I think I have 3 now, and I'm sure over the time I'm gonna collect more. I just love them that much. So back to Donna. Donna contacted me, I think at the end of last week or in the middle of the week, and said, hey, I'm thinking of starting Vineyard Fair. Would you like to join me? And of course, I jumped right in. And now that I think about it, I don't know if I have the pattern cover. I do have the pattern cover. So this is Vineyard Fair. It's by our October House. I think it's Needle Arts, Fiber Arts. October House Fiber Arts. I have stitched her Strawberry Fair, and I have the Honey Fair. I think it's called Honey Fair. I love them. The quick little stitches. The best part about them, the thing that makes them a series, is whatever the main motif. The first one, it was the strawberry. This one is grapes. The other one, it was a biscuit. They look quilted. They have that same vibe to them. And so I would say within a couple of days of finishing it. So I'm stitching this one on a nerd hoop. I'm relatively new to these. I had been stitching something else on it, but I would take it off at night. This one's been on the hoop since I started it this weekend. I hope that doesn't impress, wrinkles that I can't get out. But as far as the stitching of this goes, I have stitched a good bit of it. The main part of the stitching is the grapes here. It's Vineyard Fair, of course it is. There's a lot of vines inside, and this is the border. So I've done the entire top border. I've come down to the left side with the border, and I still need to go across, and I can't remember what's on that side. So there's a flower down here, and the vines kind of make up the border on this side. But over to about right here is completely done. And I just need to complete, I've got one thread color because there's like 5 colors within the grapes in this pattern. And I have one color to go through, and I've started over here. So you can kind of see how it's gonna look there a little, give you an idea. But I'm enjoying it, and I believe I've got the perfect fabric upstairs to make it into a pillow, and I'm looking forward to getting this one finished. So my goal for tonight when I sit down, I've been working today. I had this long trailing vine off the actual grapes that I did last night, this and this. When I got up this morning, I put in, I think, 2 threads, and I'm doing the other scroll work, which is vine work, that's in a different color, green, shade of green, and I worked on that today. So tonight, my goal is to get a good chunk of the fill-in work on this grape. So like I said, hopefully just 2 days, and I'll get that finished. And this is something, I think I shared this on my last video because I was working on the cardinals. So I have, you see all those beads? Those are left over from the cardinal and the turtle. So these are just, they're like old CD cases, and they have a sticky tape. And someone mentioned on my last video, which is why I wanted to share this with you again, that you can just wash this off, like with water, because it'll loosen these beads up. And if I've noticed while I'm stitching, because it's fibers, the thread, the fuzzies, the fibers that's floating in the air that right now are tickling my nose, they get on the sticky. And then over time I can see where it's not going to be working as well as it should. And they said you can just wash that off with water, just some warm water, and those fibers will come up. I don't know if that's certain, but I do plan to give that a try soon. There's my magnet for my turtle as well. But thank you, whoever gave me that tip in the video, the last video I think, or the video before. Thank you very much, because I plan to take you up on that advice. And then what else do I have coming up? Other than the Halloween piece, I decided to join a few other ladies that are stitching it. As soon as I finish Vineyard Fair, I think Merritt is the one who invited me to stitch along. And so I pulled this piece out, and this is Though He Seemeth Sleeping, and that's by Lucy Beam. This one's been circulating around since it come out. I love it. I just haven't made a start on it. The fabric that I have for it is Wild Honey. It's 37 count Wild Honey Legacy linen. This is the first time that I've stitched on a 37 count. I shouldn't have any problem. 36 and 32 are my favorites. And then something new that I got in. Let me put this one away and get it off the table here. I signed up for the, it's not a mystery box. What were they calling it? Exclusive stitch from Hands On Design and Chantel. And this is my first time doing anything, getting anything from Chantel. I love Kathy from Hands On Design. And I got this in the mail a couple of weeks ago. It was packaged just like this. Love it. So it's like one of the plastic containers you get salad at your local deli for lunch. It's gotten a little dark in here because it looks like the clouds have covered the sun. But back to this. So this is the piece. And there's a bonus piece as well. I love how it was packed. Everything's inside. It's got some beautiful little paper. But it's called Sorry Can't, and it says Sorry Can't Stitching By. So it comes with 2 little hoops, wooden hoops, as you can see, to finish it on. All the finishing material, the batting, the lacing thread, your needle, everything. Now this one is for, I'm sorry, this one's for the I do call it a complimentary piece. This is, let me go back. I'm getting tongue twisted and my mind's getting twisted too. So this is for Sorry Can't Stitching By. So you've got the 2 pieces, 2 hoops, and a backing piece. And this looks like the mounting board that you need. You also have the supplies. So you've got the finishing lacing thread, everything like that. Inside of here, your fabric, and you also have your threads. Awesome. Love it, love it. And there was also a complimentary chart in there as well. Did I look over it? No, it stuck to it. No, it didn't. This is it here. I showed it to you, but didn't realize it. So these finishing items, the secondary hoop that's smaller, comes with this bonus block chart. Awesome. So this year, in the past month and a half, I have done one mystery box from Primrose and this box from Chantel and Kathy. First time doing these boxes, absolutely loved what I got. I've always been on the fence about doing mystery boxes. So glad that I did. So glad that I did. I would not hesitate to do from either of those ever again. Would not hesitate. All right. What else do I have? I think that's it. It is. I can put all these goodies away since I've shared them with all of you. And what I plan to do, excuse me, in the coming days is to finish up Vineyard Fair and go back to the Shannon Christine, which is Christmas Manor. I also have want to give a start to the Seemth sleeping, and let's at least get this started because there are everybody's kind of stitching along on the same pace and they're using the same guide, so I will need to kind of catch up with the other stitchers. So I'll give a start to that. I shared on my Instagram that my son Jacob, who a lot of you have known from my earlier Flosstube videos, he was in the military for 6 years. He's been home for close to a year. During that time he's been home, he has gotten married. A young lady come with him home from Montana, and she is now our daughter-in-law. Her name is Shannon, and she stitches. She's awesome. But they are expecting, and so we're gonna have another granddaughter. I'm so excited. I always tell my kids I want a backyard full of grandkids. So this will be their first, and both of my daughters have one child each, and it's just a happy time. My husband, for those of you that have asked, thank you for the messages and the calls and the emails and the gifts. Thank you so much. This community is so great. He is slowly but surely recovering a little more each day. There has been another little snag, another issue that we're having to address, that he will have a CAT scan this coming Monday that may lead to maybe a short hospital stay, or we're keeping our fingers crossed it's going to be just an outpatient procedure. But otherwise, he's doing great. Still working on getting his strength back. He gets up and he moves around a lot here at home. But if we run into town, I'm becoming a professional at doing the grocery pickups or the Sam's pickups or DoorDash. I never did any of those before being home with him, taking care of him. So I'm becoming a professional. But there was, a new grocery store that opened in our area, and you would not expect it to be a big deal, but it was a huge deal, and everybody wanted to go check it out, including us. And we walked in one day last week, in between getting lunch, going into that grocery store, walking around a bit, and coming back, it wore him out for the day. He is not much of a napper, never has been. Doesn't sit in a recliner and naps, doesn't take a nap on the weekends when he's home from work. He's just not a napper, but he naps now every day. It bothers him because he feels like he slept his day away, but at the same time I tell him, you've got to go easy on yourself because your body is healing and it needs that time to heal. So yesterday my daughter had something she needed to do for a couple of hours in the morning, and she asked if we could watch our little grandson, and I said absolutely, bring him over. Not only did he wear me out, he also wore my husband out, even though my husband wasn't up and down like I was with him, because he's a toddler. He just got his legs under him, so he's running everywhere. I wish I had only a small portion of that energy, but having him here is great for us. It makes us happy. We enjoy having him here. He's also so full of energy. It wore my husband out, just a few little bit of getting up and down that he did with him. So said all of that story to say he's still recuperating every day. It's nowhere near as bad as they told us in the beginning. It's much better, but he just needs the time to heal. And I'm thankful that I am in a position that I can take a few days off from work, a few weeks rather, and spend time with him. So I'm thankful for that. It's made me think a lot. Medications, doctor bills, things like that. We've been blessed. We've been healthy. We're both in our early 50s, and we've been very healthy for our lives. But to see what those that are out there that are struggling with medical issues, I don't know how they do it. I can't, the testing, the co-pays, the deductibles, it is just every time we go. And I think about my grandparents and my parents trying to pay this on fixed incomes, or it blows my mind. So it's something that's given me thought that it's like you hear about things, but until you're experiencing them, you don't fully understand. So I feel you now. If you're experiencing that, I can't imagine. I can't imagine now, but to do that long term, is something I need to prepare better for going forward with both of us as we age. With all that said, I'm ranting about things that's not cross stitch. Thank you for stopping by and visiting with me. I do apologize for taking that short break, but I know you all understand. I hope to visit with you again next weekend. If not, it may be another week or two, but I'll be back to share. Until that time, hugs and stitches, everyone. Bye-bye.